Hey, welcome back. I'm DJ, therapist with a whiteboard and known as other things as well, I suppose. Today I want to talk about the healing process because that's something that comes up a lot because a lot of people think that healing is linear. In other words, we start here and we just go like this. We put a little in, we get a little progress, we put a little more in, we get a little more progress, so on and so forth. And though hopefully you start here, you ultimately end here, it doesn't always go that way. So first thing to consider is, what are we using to measure progress? A lot of people, and this is based my experience, 30-something years in doing body work, counseling, such and such, they measure pain. And so for people on the body work side, they have physical pain, which is real to them, but pain is subjective, right? So what may be a 3 out of 10 pain for someone over there would be a 2 or for somebody else, and an 8 out of 10 for somebody else. But what else? What are the other qualities to what's going on besides pain? Because that one parameter doesn't always tell the whole story. So let's just step back and see if we can uncover a little bit of really what the healing process is, because everything is possible. I've seen everything. So what are some examples of things I've seen? So this is the way people heal. I've seen people come in here and they bounce along the bottom, boop, 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 doo, 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 and then all of a sudden something happens and they feel better. I've had other people, let me switch colors here, that maybe start here and they have a big bang to begin with. And they're like, oh my God, you're like magic. Yeah, what did you do? I've seen thousands of people before. Nobody did that. And then, I should have stopped there, right? Then we hit something and they kind of go like this and they're like, oh, I don't think this is working. I don't know, maybe I should go somewhere else. What do you think I should try? Something else and maybe add 14 more things, and because it's here. Then if they stay, here's the key, if they stay in the process, they start doing this and they may end up here and they're like, yeah, this was great. All kinds of possibilities. So what I'm paying attention to, so whether we're here or we're in the good old linear, what I'm paying attention to are lots of things going on. So if I'm in, and this applies whether I'm in this room, my counseling room, or I'm doing body work. I'm paying attention to lots of things that to me make up the whole person and show me whether are we moving ultimately in a healing direction, or is there something getting in the way? And sometimes there are things that get in the way that have to be addressed before we can move on. And in the body work, tons of examples of that, right? It could be, perhaps like a fracture of a bone or a bone spur or something that gets in the way, and then we got to sort of take a step back, maybe bring in another treatment before we can move forward. But one of the things I'm paying attention to, and this is why there's all kinds of scenarios, and I could draw lots of different ones up here, is that when a person comes in, and don't look at the cover unless you want to, Dissociative Identity Disorder. It's the book I chose for this demonstration. When you come in, this is what I say. And you fill out your paperwork, and we go, hey, how are you, boom, and you tell me a little bit about yourself, and we get to work. And basically we open up the first page, and depending what's on this very first page, this might be a couple. If I was doing counseling, it may be a couple little contact statements about what's happening in your body or whatever, and you're like, oh yeah, and we move on. Or maybe I might draw a little picture, you might go, oh, and then we turn the page. If it's body work, I'm feeling, when I put my hands on somebody, I can feel many things at one time. So one layer at a time. So if I'm on this very first layer, there may be, in this case, there's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 words. All right, we handle that pretty well. We can read that pretty fast, right? And I may go to this page, and so on. And that, once we clear away one layer, I don't know what's on this page. So we may be here on the first page, and then we might go right back down, because there might be things on this page now that in the body are going to be activating. They're going to bring on some symptoms that you had, now they're worse. Thank you very much, DJ. Or they're going to be symptoms that you never had. That people are never happy about that. Well, it was really my left knee was fine before I came, and now I have left knee problems. What happened? So we never know what's going to be on all these pages. And we, when we're working, we're peeling one page at a time. I can't do this very well here, but one page at a time. We're just one thing at a time, moving towards the healing process. I can't go to the end of the book and read you the last page, because that's out of order. And if I do that, we're going to miss a lot of other things that we have to address in order for you to attain sustainable health. There are lots of things out there you can do to feel better for a moment. People do that all the time. Well, maybe I'll have a drink, maybe I'll sleep 12 hours, maybe I'll do some drugs, maybe I'll, I don't know, eat, whatever people do to feel better in the moment. If it's for the body, maybe you're going to take a hot bath, maybe get a little massage. But if you try to go to the end, anywhere in the back here, before you've healed all of this, there's a likelihood it's going to come back at some point. Maybe it's 6 months from now, maybe it's a year from now. I see people who come to me and they say, I had this problem years ago. Well, maybe it never was fully resolved because you decided you want to do this path, and that path was great and it got you where you had to go, and that's fine, but it didn't take you the full way. And so healing is such a collection, right, of what's going on, body, mind, spirit, and how do we gradually move these restrictions. I like to say flow, fluidity, symmetry, and balance. That can apply both to counseling, both to body work, to the combination work that I do. But I think most people, I hope this one works, they kind of start here. Most people start, most of the time, what appears linear, and then we maybe come down, and then we go up a little, and we kind of do this, kind of up and down. Sometimes we go way down, because this was an injury from like 10 years ago, 20 years ago, never got addressed. We're back in time, and then we just keep getting here. Eventually, as you can see, if we would draw that straight line, it still goes that way, but it goes up and down. It's what I call the ebb and flow of getting better. I feel better, and no, I don't, but I think I do, but I don't know what, but I don't, I don't know. I don't know if this is working. You know what? I think I was good last week. And what I love, and I've talked about Sundog before, which is the Taoist Korean practice that I do. And what I love is that it follows a similar process. You start off with, level 1 postures, and you do those, and you sort of, start in this. It feels good. Wow, I have a little flexibility, a little this. But as you keep doing it and you keep realigning the body in a healthy way, you're going to hit little storm centers in there where things that you didn't know were bothering you all of a sudden are here. They're like, wow, I haven't had that back pain in forever. Or maybe things that you've never had, but the body was reorganizing towards it, but it never actually came to fruition. And as you're working back, the collection of different strain patterns, there's the right ankle pain or the right knee pain, or maybe you're a little depressed or whatever. Everything that is unresolved in the body is going to come back out. that's the way it happens. If we're working healthfully and we're going to achieve sustainable health, where life, and I said this in my very first video, life can be simple. But we got to clear out some things, right? We got to get rid of the clutter in our bodies, the clutter in our hearts and spirits and minds, so that we can live more simply. So healing, again, it goes a little bit all over the place, but if you stick with it, you're going to end up where you need to be. All right? And I get that can be frustrating. Believe me, this is the hardest one. Where people come in and think I'm like the best thing in the world, and then I kind of crash and burn. So hopefully I can keep those people so we can get them better. Anyway, so much here. You know, I always say to people, like when they wonder how long does it take, you know, the big question, how long will this take me? I like to keep working. I always tell people, no, I don't like to be a hamster on a hamster wheel, so I don't like to spin if I don't feel like we're moving this in a healthy direction. But are you 200-page small print, lots of fancy words person, or are you, good night moon, very simple, right? Lots of pictures, Are you a 1,000-piece, jigsaw puzzle, double-sided, very similar colors, or are you, 25-piece jigsaw puzzle, big pieces, obvious patterns. So everybody comes in with their own simplicities, their own complexities, and sometimes their own chaos. And we try to streamline it to create the best healing process for you, not just for today, but for sustainable long-term happiness and simplicity. Good to see you. Take good care. Always. If you have questions, reach out, talk to me. And if you ever want to be in a video, I would love to have someone be here live, like doing something with me. It would be great. Look forward to it. Take good care. Bye-bye.